welcome to Granny's Country Kitchen with Lainey. I'm Lainey, and this is my Granny Helen. I grew up learning how to cook from the best home cook ever, my granny. From the time I was real little, I was in the kitchen helping her, learning how to do things her way, and a lot of things there's not really a recipe for. It's in here and in here. But I do have several recipes, and I will write more that I know by heart. I wanted to start this channel with my kids to get them in the kitchen and learning how to cook the way I did. So I need my two helpers. Emily. And where's my other helper? Pikachu, I choose you. Joseph. All right. So these are my kitchen helpers, and my amazing husband is behind the camera. He's my IT department, my cinematographer, my all-around better half and partner in crime in life. So we've got everything sitting out that we're gonna need, and let's get cooking. Okay, this is Granny's recipe, handwritten, old faded paper. I don't want to ruin this. So with all of her things that I've done, I put things on recipe cards. So we already have everything. This can get messed up, I don't care. I want that to be preserved. So we're gonna need Baker's German sweet chocolate, 1 bar. This is what it looks like, and it's right there on the baking aisle with all the other chocolate chips and whatnot. And then another ingredient I want to talk about is vanilla. We have found and been using for quite a long time vanilla bean paste. It gives a huge amount of flavor, and it's a little bit pricey, but nowhere near buying vanilla beans would be. And it's just a more intense vanilla flavor. It's great in any recipe that you're going to need vanilla extract in. It measures the same. It's a kind of a paste, thick, viscous liquid almost, but it measures out the exact same. I got this one on Amazon, and there's several brands to choose from. You can get really high-end, that's expensive, or kind of middle of the road, which is what this is. So when we get to measuring, I'll show you what this looks like. And her recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of warm water, or almost boiling water, to melt the chocolate. I use coffee. It just gives a little bit more of a flavor dimension. You can't tell if you don't like coffee, which I don't drink coffee. It's not gonna taste like coffee once everything's all done.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes I drink coffee if I'm really cold. But anyway, okay, let's get started chopping this chocolate. Now the kids have washed their hands, which is always important to do. Hand hygiene, proper hand hygiene is really important when you're cooking, and all the time, especially right now, but in general, good hand hygiene is the best thing you can do to keep yourself and your family and other people safe year-round, regardless of what's going on. So I'm going to chop this chocolate, and then I'm going to let the kids do some measuring, and then we'll get going on putting everything together in a batter. I like to chop it at a diagonal like this. Diagonal? I haven't mastered the English language yet. I've only been speaking it my entire life.
Just remember it's diagonal.
It can be however you want. This is just what I like to do.
You think it gets chocolate faster?
I don't know. I just like to do it this way. Don't ask for any logic behind it. Okay. So we're going to measure the coffee before we put the chocolate in the bowl. So Emily, we need a 1/2 cup. Here's piping hot coffee that we just brewed. Now when you're measuring things, this is a liquid measuring cup. This is for liquids, okay? This is for dry ingredients. So use the proper tools. When you're measuring liquids, you need to be at eye level. So either put it on something that's higher up, or you're gonna have to kind of squat down. But we need a 1/2 cup. And I know you're gonna make a dribble mess, and that's okay.
I'm scared to pour because I'm scared it'll burn me.
Do you want me to do it?
It's fresh.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
Use
drink
piping
coffee
hot
that's
It is hot.
that fresh.
Okay. Where's my 1/2 cup? Okay. So I'm gonna get down to eye level so that I can see we're at the right measurement. And I'm making a mess.
Indeed you
There we
are.
go. Okay. And that's why I have plenty of towels.
That's good. Oh, and also what's it called again? Oh, the frosting that we're making in this. We also made something else that has the same ingredients to make the same exact frosting.
Okay. Now, I'm going to set this to the side. We'll need it later.
And at the end, we'll do shout-outs.
Okay. And we're just going to pour this over this and let the chocolate melt. Again, Granny's recipe calls for boiling hot water, so you can use water
Or coffee.
or coffee.
But make sure that has nothing in it, just coffee.
Right, no cream and sugar like you like it, huh?
Just black coffee, right?
Black coffee. Okay. Give that some time and set it to the side. Now, I have my oven preheating to 350. Let's talk about our cake pans. I have some parchment paper. I like to line the bottom of my cake pans with parchment paper, just for that extra added insurance that you're going to get the cake out and it's not going to fall apart. I just trace the bottom of this pan with a pencil. So you want to cut on the inside. You don't want to eat graphite. So we're going to cut this out a little bit on the inside of where that pencil line is. Okay, so I've got my round of parchment paper cut out, and I've got some butter, softened butter on paper towel, and I grease this pan. Just want to layer down. These are 9-inch cake pans. This makes a lot of batter, so if you're going to do an 8-inch, you probably need to do 3 tiers. I'm going to lay this in the side that the graphite was on, facing down, just in case I didn't get it all cut off, and then butter over the parchment. Now at this point is when you would flour the pan. We have been doing for a long time and actually prefer to put sugar in the pan. It creates this nice crust, a little bit of a crust on the bottom.
And it's pretty sweet.
And we love that. So it's up to you if you want to use sugar or flour to prepare your pan. Okay, and then Emily, remember you just move this around to let the sugar get all around. Do you need more?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would do this.
Put a little bit more in.
Wait, I think that we would do this over a sink. That's okay, right? Like imagine, I think the sink is the better.
We'll put it up.
Yeah, I don't want.
Okay. You just want to coat everything evenly. And it's the same thing you would do with flour if that was your option you went with. Okay. And then you want to get the excess off. I already have my other cake pan prepped, so we have those ready on standby. All right. We're going to cream our butter and sugar together, but we're going to measure all of our dry ingredients before we get going in the mixer because things are going to move pretty quickly once we get started mixing. All right, so we need 2 cups of sugar. I like to measure with parchment paper. Joseph, do you want to measure the sugar?
Yes, please.
All right. So we need 2 cups. This is going to catch any mess that we're going to make. So scoop out. Do you need the step stool?
Yeah.
You good?
Okay. And I'm using my feet to grab it so I don't have to wash my hands again. And we can get this video done faster.
Okay. Scoop out into this an even, level amount of sugar. Now, you want to even things out. Do you remember how to do that?
Yes.
This side up. Okay. Go back this way a little bit. Now. There we go. Oh. And a little bit more. Right there. Okay. Even it out again. Okay. Hang on. I have another piece of parchment paper and my sifter.
Ooh, this is
So
fun.
this is what I use for a sifter. Pour it in. Okay. Now you need a second cup.
And
Measure
this-
another. You're gonna do the flour.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sift this real quick. Make sure there's no lumps. That was quick. And then it makes it really easy to transfer. Okay. There's the sugar. Put this up. Here's the bowl. Here,
And then the
hold on.
top.
And here's the extra that's filled out. You got it? There we go. So set that back down. We're going to measure the flour with that. When you're measuring flour, it's really important that you don't just stick the measuring cup down in the container and get a big packed cup full of flour. So what you want to do is kind of aerate your flour a little bit. Now, how much flour? 2.5 cups.
So 2 of these and 2 of these, right? Alright.
2 of those, 1 of that. Okay. Now again, we're going to do it on top of the parchment to catch any strays. So go ahead and do 2 of these. And it's important that you level things off. So you We're going to add the baking soda and sift it with the flour. So
Baking soda's my favorite.
1 teaspoon of baking soda.
Is Joe gonna do that?
Find the teaspoon. All right, Joseph,
Yep.
you're going to measure this for us.
Okay.
Do you see this part of the can?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to get you a nice big scoop.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we did with the butter knife, you're going to level it off. Okay?
Okay.
And then put it in the flour.
It looks like the chocolate's coming out good.
Nope, not quite. Get it full. Get a nice spoonful. There you go. And then there you go. Put it in the flour. Okay. Good. Now, the recipe says to sift the flour, baking soda, and salt together. My salt is kosher salt, so it's too big of a grain to sift through this, so we'll just add it to the pile. All right. And we need a half teaspoon of salt.
So this or this?
This one.
Okay, here's this one. Is it gonna soften the baking soda small?
Now,
Again, do the same technique
level it
that I
off.
did.
Same technique. Okay, and then just pour it right here on the flour.
Good job, Joe.
Very good. Okay. And we're gonna set this to the side. Okay. All right, we need 1 cup of buttermilk. All right, Emily, since I measured the coffee, measure the buttermilk for us.
One cup.
1 cup. Okay. And let me go through everything again real quick. We've got the German chocolate melting in the coffee. We've got 1 cup of butter we're going to cream. That's softened at room temperature. We've got our sugar that we've measured and sifted.
We got our
We have
eggs.
our flour, baking soda, and salt. We've got our vanilla sitting here. We've got our eggs separated, and we have our 1 cup of buttermilk. Okay, I'm going to clear the area and get the mixer on the counter so we can show you how to mix the cake. Okay, so we have everything together that we need, everything we've measured out, and the mixer. Now the first thing we're going to do is cream the butter and sugar together. We need 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, softened. So, Emily, can you scrape this butter into, here, let me open a little bit easier for you, into the bowl. Joseph, can you do this one?
Really sticky.
Yep. Careful.
Wow.
All right.
That is cool. That looks satisfying.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to put the whip attachment on. Bring the bowl up and lock it. Okay, we're going to start it. And pour the sugar in and cream it.
Oh, and we started
The recipe says to cream the butter and sugar together until light and fluffy. That's going to take a few minutes and it can be really loud, so we'll jump ahead when we are done. Okay, we've got the sugar and butter creamed until light and fluffy. And you can see light and fluffy
It sort of looks like
texture and
mashed
color.
potatoes.
It does sort of look like mashed potatoes. A few times in the mixing, I scraped the sides of the bowl down. Don't forget to scrape down all the way to the bottom of the bowl, because things can get stuck right there at the bottom and not mix in properly. Okay, the next step is to add the egg yolks one at a time. So we're going to turn this on a little bit of a lower speed and add the yolks. dishwasher's done. And this is what we have when we have our butter, sugar, and 4 egg yolks incorporated. Again, I'm just scraping the sides and the bottom. All right, Emily, tell us the next step. What do we do next? Right there.
Add chocolate and vanilla.
So we're gonna turn the mixer back on and add the melted chocolate
And vanilla paste.
and then the vanilla bean paste.
Is it hot?
No, it's cooled down. And see how the warm coffee completely melted the chocolate, and it's cool. You don't want to add hot melted chocolate right into these eggs. So this is cool, that's why we did this first thing. Okay.
Now that the chocolate is all in, we can mix the chocolate with the batter.
All right, and Emily, how much vanilla do we need? Where's it at? 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon, okay.
When you're using this vanilla bean paste, you want to shake it up a little bit before you
Because
measure
it's
it out.
a paste, right?
Because it's a paste. And then come around here and dip out.
Pour.
No, here, do this one. It's easier to get it. Go in there and scoop it.
Smells good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. You want a full teaspoonful.
That smells good.
Full.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste good.
And this is what it looks like. It's a paste. It's a viscous liquid.
It kind of looks like the chocolate that we added, but even more darker than the chocolate. And liquidy.
Smells good. Okay,
it smells like
we're gonna
ice
mix
cream.
all this. Okay, let me show you what we have at this point.
That looks delicious, actually.
It's-
Can we try
It smells amazing. No, we still have stuff to add to it.
And it looks exactly like the frosting that we're gonna use for this. Once again, we used another this exact same frosting for another type of cake.
That's right.
And it kind of looks like the frosting that we're gonna use, but
We're actually gonna use 2 kinds of frosting.
what, coconut?
We're gonna use the traditional German chocolate cake frosting with coconut, and then we're gonna also add some regular chocolate frosting that we make. Okay.
Sounds good. Well, we're gonna have more coconut, right?
All right, so the final step is to alternate gradually adding our buttermilk and our flour, salt, and baking soda.
I can add the milk.
Let's let Joseph add the milk and
I
you
add
can-
flour?
Yeah,
Because it's about time.
yeah. So let's try and do it in about 3 additions, alternating milk and flour, okay? So we're gonna turn this back on and do our additions. It's a little bit loud, so
How much do I pour in?
I'll show you, just about 1/3 of it, and then we'll do flour back and forth, okay? So give us a minute here. You don't wanna get this too high on your mixing speed because you'll get flour slung all over your kitchen. So you must start off low. All right, and this is the great thing about using the parchment paper. Emily's gonna do it, but I'm gonna show you. I have this thing that attaches and you can pour the flour or whatever into.
And I use it.
But it's easier just to do the parchment paper, I think. Okay. incorporated well together. And then I need to wash this bowl because we're gonna beat those egg whites that we reserved and fold them into. Okay, we put the chocolate batter in a different bowl, and here's what you have. And then, like I said, I washed this bowl. You have to have very clean. There cannot be any trace of oil or butter in that bowl when you're whipping your egg whites. You want to whip them to a hard peak consistency. And I went ahead and just threw all 4 egg whites in and just let it go. Took a few minutes. We have peaks. Okay, this is going to get folded into this batter. Emily, do you remember how I showed you how to fold stuff in? Okay, hold on.
I never got caught.
Well, you're about to. Okay. It's on the sink. When you're folding egg whites in, you want to be really careful, be really gentle. The point of the egg whites is to lighten the batter and make it fluffier. So you don't want to just smash all the air that we just spent whipping into them. So we put a little bit into the batter.
It looks like foam.
It does. Looks like little clouds. And then this is what we mean by folding. You come from the bottom and fold it in. Really gently. You're not mixing aggressively. We're just folding these egg whites in because this is what's going to make the cake really light and fluffy.
So that way it's not very hard.
And
it's fluffy and it's nice.
And it'll
so
help it
won't be
rise.
rude.
Yep, it helps it rise and helps it stay fluffy and soft. Exactly right. You see what I'm doing? We're just gently stirring, but that's what I mean by folding. You're bringing it from the bottom. It's really important that you get the egg white mixed in because it can make, if you have little pockets of egg white, it can make your cake tough.
And like hard, like
just
fruit cake.
Chewy, you know?
And it'll be softer than it was.
Alright. Now, this is a lot of batter, like I said. You're going to use 8-inch cake pans. You need to use 3. I may not even be able to get this all appropriately in the 9-inch ones I
I need to
have.
wash my hands.
Okay. I have made these as cupcakes, and they work great. And what I did for cupcakes is I filled them with the traditional German chocolate coconut frosting. And so there was a filling on the inside, and then I topped them with a chocolate icing. So generally a German chocolate cake is naked. It's just got the coconut frosting in between the layers and on the top, and the sides aren't covered. But we're going to gild the lily and make a chocolate frosting to cover the sides for decorating. And we're going to make the coconut traditional frosting. So let's get this in our pans and get it baking.
Here's pan number 1.
Alright. Now I have these cake straps. These are from Wilton. There's a lot of different brands. You soak these in water and it helps your cake cook evenly. And it helps it not get a dome over the top. So it's a nice flat cake. Try to distribute the batter evenly. Put that one down. You're okay. No, it's okay. Alright. And like I said, we don't want to do a whole lot and lose the air that we just folded in with those egg whites. So you want to be gentle. You don't want to do a whole bunch of banging them around or anything. What do you guys think? Does that look even?
Yes. And delicious at the same time.
Generally, I would pick my cake pans up and drop them down to knock out any air bubbles. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to lose that air that the egg whites add. oven. Like I said earlier, it's preheated to 350 degrees and these cook for 35 to 40 minutes. And you have to cool them completely before you frost them. So we're gonna pop them in the oven and we'll be back when it's ready to frost them. And we'll make the frosting. Okay, our cakes have cooked. They spent 35 minutes in the oven. I told you 35 to 40. When the timer goes off at 35, you want to open the oven and just test with a cake tester. If it comes out clean, it's cooked. And we're going to let it cool, and I'll show you. The top is flat, it doesn't have a dome, and it springs back. And you can see it coming away from the sides and all that crunchy, crispy crust that we created with the sugar. Again, you can use flour. We prefer doing the sugar method. We've been doing it for a long time and really enjoy that alternative. So we're going to do a companion video instead of making one giant long video for the coconut frosting. So we're going to let these cool and we're going to make the frosting. So check that video out and then we'll come back when it's all finished to put the whole thing together for you. Okay, I turned the cakes out on a couple of cooling racks so that they can cool quicker. And you can see the cake came out beautifully clean from the pan. A little bit of sugar left in the pan and that parchment paper made sure the bottom came out intact. But you can see the crust, the little crystals of crust. That is some crunchy goodness. If you don't like it, do flour. But again, this is our preferred method. And we will be back when everything's cooled off and we'll complete the cake. Okay, we've got everything complete. Our cake is cooled nicely. It's got a nice flat top. Like I told you, the cake straps create that flat top. You don't have a dome top, and so you don't have to level it out. I've got little marks from my cooling rack, but that's okay. I've got it on a round. You can get those at any cake supply store or Hobby Lobby. I've got a stand. I'm going to put everything on. My other cake layer is on the other baking rack. Here is the traditional frosting that we made in the companion video. So I didn't want to do one giant long video. We have one that's just for this frosting. Jump over there and take a look at it to get the ingredients and directions for cooking this frosting. And then like I said, normally German chocolate cakes just have the filling in the top and the sides are naked. So we're going to gild the lily. Josh made his chocolate frosting that the kids absolutely love, and it's so light and fluffy. We're going to go around the outside of the cake. It looks like
the batter, but it's thicker.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. All right, so I have a couple of offset spatulas. These are great for cake decorating. And then I have a bench scraper that we're gonna level the sides with. All right, Emily, let's take some of this frosting.
Okay. That's a good chunk.
Spread it around. Make a nice even filling layer.
All right. Kind of spread.
It's a little bit dense, so you're gonna have to have a little effort, but you don't want to tear the cake up. It's a little bit of a balancing act, huh?
Like on a tightrope at the circus. You don't want to fall, and you need to stay balanced.
Exactly.
And you want to stay balanced with this, or this will crumble underneath.
All right.
And not fall apart.
Let's add some more where we need it. And in the frosting recipe, I doubled the recipe. So I made a double batch. I'm just going to help you. Nice. Kind of give it a
And
little...
the frosting will be covering the
little
strips,
squish.
right? So
Yes.
it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Okay.
Like a little sandwich.
Take your spatula.
Spatula. Ooh, boy. Alright.
Joseph, we're frosting cake. Do you want to help? You're busy, huh? Okay. So decadent.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. Just don't knock it off. Because remember, we're going to leave the sides. Okay, let me see. Let's get this spread out evenly. The chocolate frosting will be easier for you to handle.
Yeah, because this has like nuts in it.
Nuts and coconut, and
Yeah.
it's a little dense.
But I think the chocolate frosting will be a lot easier because it's just chocolate.
Yep, it's light and fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Josh's favorite cake.
He agrees anything that's involved with it. Seriously.
Yes. It's also my brother Mark's favorite. Granny would make it for him
Oh yeah.
for his birthday and things.
Maybe next year for his birthday we can make him a German chocolate cake.
Okay. Now, a lot of times this is what you will see. Top layer of frosting, filling layer of frosting, and then the edges of the cake are visible. But we're going to cover the edges. So, I'm going to take this and hold it to the edge of the cake and spin the cake.
So that way it's like a nice thin layer.
Alright, how's that look? What do you think? Now I have piping tips in a bag. We could take some tips and make some
That actually sounds like a good idea.
some shells across the top. Okay, well let's pause and I'll get out what I need and we'll do some dollops of chocolate on top and we'll be done. Okay, we've got the rest of our chocolate frosting in a piping bag with a tip on the end. I'd have to take it off to see what number tip it is. Just going to do some little designs on the plate to kind of practice.
Can I practice?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to take so long.
We're just going to do a simple little border, okay? Spin it a little more. There we go. You can do the same thing around the bottom if you wanted to give the bottom a decorative design. Let's see what we want to do. We can just do,
A straight line?
no.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty cute, Mom.
Okay, spin for me.
So sort of the same thing that we did on the rim.
Uh-huh. Okay. Spin. One more spin ought to do. And that's our German chocolate cake. One tip that you can use at a birthday party or cutting cake at home, regardless, is unflavored, unwaxed dental floss. This cuts cleanly through. You get really clean edges. You don't have a cutting knife that's just full of cake and frosting as you move forward. Let's go ahead and cut some of this cake. Okay, you want a nice long strand, and you want to be able to have plenty of resistance on your strand of dental floss. So kind of find the center of your cake, and you just floss down your cake. Now, you're probably still going to need a knife to get down to the very bottom. Especially on a cake stand like this, it's hard to get down to the lip. On a bakery cake where you can take the whole thing out, or if I took it off of here, you would be able to get all the way down. But you just pull the strand on through and keep slicing your cake. Nice clean slices, even edges, not a bunch of buildup on your serving knife, and everybody gets a delicious, gorgeous piece of cake.
And you can cut it to your desired size.
I have no idea how much this should serve, what a serving size is, nor do I know the nutritional value for it.
And it has nuts in it, so good protein.
It's got some protein. Yeah. We don't make this very often, and like I said, Granny made it for special occasions at home growing up with her. I also made Josh a batch of homemade ice cream, and so he's really getting spoiled this weekend. Okay, so this is homemade German chocolate cake from my Granny Helen's recipe. I have a lot of recipes in my box that came from her. I have a lot of inspiration that is derived from her. So thanks for coming along on our maiden voyage launch of our channel today. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something, and I hope you try this recipe. You will not regret it. It is amazing. The recipes will be in the description box. Do pop over and watch the frosting video. I'll put the frosting recipe in this box as well. I didn't make the chocolate frosting, my husband did, so there's not a video for it, but we'll put the recipe to that as well. Watch the frosting recipe if you want to see how it comes together. Just follow the recipe, and then let me know how you like it. We hope you enjoy it. We're going to be doing hopefully a video a week. That's going to be a lot for us right now with everything that we have going on. But if you have a favorite recipe that you had growing up and you want someone to make it, I would be happy to try. I'm going to research some vintage recipes and give those a try too. But like I said, I have tons of my granny's recipes and inspiration to go from. Please join us back here again. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the videos today, and share. Let other people know we're out here. What else? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to be notified next time we have a video.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell. So thanks to my helpers and my amazing husband for going on this journey with me. We'll see you next time on Granny's Country Kitchen with Lainey. Oh, by the way, that name comes from whenever we were little and we'd be going to Granny's house for dinner. That's what my daddy would say. We're going to Granny's Country Kitchen. So that's where that comes from. Her inspiration and her love and her everything she gave us, I'm hoping to try and give back. So that's where that comes from. Yes, I have gray hair, but I'm not a granny yet. But anyway, thank you. Please enjoy. God bless.